I want to introduce Jesse, our first speaker. This is the first time we're doing this, so thank you for coming. Like I said in the email to most of you, I get to meet tons of people, and it's the best part of my job, but the funnest part is hearing what people do outside. So, met Jesse, who is the founder, besides being a group creative director at Digitas, is the founder of Calexico, which many of you are already familiar with. So let him do his thing.
All right. I have a hot open for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lo. So that's life on an Alaskan fishing boat, and that was the last job that I had before I did advertising. And doing that job was a really, really bad idea. It was one of the worst things I've ever done, but I've done a lot of bad things, and that's why I'm here to talk to you about it. All right, so, well, first of all, thank you for this. This is really cool. A speaker series by ad people for ad people that's not talking about advertising is well needed, so thank you. My name is Jesse. I'm an ad guy here in New York. I've been doing it for about 20 years. And about 10 years ago, I started a taco cart called Calexico. You've been enjoying some of our food here, hopefully. Yeah. But right now, I most recently I work as a creative director at Digitas LBI. There's a few people here from Digitas, so shout out. Well, over the years, the taco cart, which just started with me and my two brothers, has grown into a real business. And now we have 3 carts, and we have 5 restaurants, and we're in the Barclays Center, and we're building another restaurant outside of New York in Long Island. And this year we're going to open 2 restaurants in the Middle East. So things are like kind of blowing up for us, and none of that was really planned or expected, but it happened. It's cool. I guess that's why I'm here. I'm the ad guy with the taco business. And I'm the first one to go, so there's like no template. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about, and I was like, well. I don't know, like I could talk about how to open the taco truck, but that seems kind of specific, So this being the age of TED Talks, I started looking at TED Talks, and of course, they're like amazing and inspiring and everything else. So I thought, yeah, I want to do one of those at the lodge. So that's how I treated this, and with TED Talks, apparently, you're supposed to take some like personal experience or expertise, and then you like ladder that up to some kind of insight, and something about the human condition that everyone can relate to, and that's inspiring, and goes viral on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And then that leads to like these amazing speeches with titles like these are real titles: Your Elusive Creative Genius, The Power of Vulnerability, How Great Leaders Inspire Action. So I was like, all right, cool, like big important stuff. So I thought about what I had to offer from my experience, and I was like, well, I'm an expert in tacos. But not just tacos, also burritos. And I'm quite fluent in a wide array of salsas. So, but that, that's what I had to work with that in advertising. And so not, not a sociologist, not a philosopher, not, some kind of geneticist or something like that. Like I'm not Ted Worthy, but I thought, maybe I'll step back and take an inventory of my life in general and see what has brought me to this kind of unique situation that I'm in now as the ad taco guy, and see if there are any lessons that I can maybe pass on. And as I did this, I came to realize that there is a recurring theme that has defined my life, and that is this: I make dumb, harebrained, boneheaded decisions over and over again. It's just remarkable. Now, I'm not saying all my decisions have been bad. My wife and children, who are right here, are shining examples that I can get it right sometimes. But when I look back at how I've chosen to spend a lot of my waking hours, I think the record will show that there have been many, many bad decisions. But as I thought about it, I also realized that some of those dumb decisions yielded some of the most satisfying and interesting things in my life, including this taco business. And not all of them, some of them were just fucking stupid, but some of them were I would categorize as good, bad decisions, if you will. So, things that brought me to new, unexpected places and pushed me out of my comfort zone and forced me to experience new things and be resourceful and creative. So that's the theme of my talk today: celebrating the power of bad decisions, or as I've decided to title my fake TED Talk, embracing your inner. All right, so let me step back for a moment. I've always had a strong creative impulse, but growing up, I never really displayed any kind of ability or talent at anything. So no musical instruments, no, I can't sing, I can't draw or shit. I'm a pretty good dancer, but still, I identified strongly with artists and writers and punk rockers, and I desperately wanted to be creative and I wanted to make stuff. And the will was there, but the vision and the ability, not so much. So. But what I lacked in talent, I made up for in stubbornness. And that is something I do have in abundance. I'm like Michael Myers from Halloween. I don't have any special powers, but you can't stop me. Once I set my mind to something, I'm relentless. I will see an idea through to its end, no matter how stupid it may be. So I want to offer a brief history of my dumb ideas. These are, it's important to note this is not comprehensive by any means. It's sampling. But let's see, real quick. Dumb idea number one, hitchhike across the country. So this is, when I was 19 years old, I read On the Road by Jack Kerouac, and I was inspired. And, most people read On the Road and get inspired. They get in a car and they drive for a while. Not me. I got a backpack and I literally walked to a highway, stuck my thumb out, and I hitchhiked from New York to California. For real. And there's a reason that you never ever see hitchhikers, because it's a terrible, terrible idea. But I did it, and I made it. On this epic scale, I slept by the side of the road. I met a ton of weirdos who are willing to pick up hitchhikers in this day and age. It was awesome. It was really cool. It was a terrible idea, but it had awesome results. And what it taught me then was that I should be fearless and believe that I can do anything. So that was one good, bad idea. Dumb idea number two, use YouTube tutorials to build a house. So, all right, I didn't actually build a house from the ground up, but I did buy a completely dilapidated, rundown cottage on a lake, and used YouTube tutorials and tools that I rented from Home Depot to rebuild it completely. And it was a pretty dumb idea, and I got in way over my head, and it took a lot more time than I thought, and more money and whatever. But I learned a lot. The number one lesson I learned, I'll share with you, it might help someday, is don't do that. Let professionals do that. But you know, I'm proud of it. Like, I actually pulled it off, and the place looked great when I sold it. As the housing market cratered in 2008, a lot less money than I bought it for, which was another one of my great ideas. So, all right. Done my day number 3. Get a master's degree in creative writing. So, I mean, this is a big one because it came to define, in a lot of ways, who I am. Like, it really solidified my self-identity as a creative person and as a writer. And, you know, it's something I still carry with myself today. And, you know, like a lot of vaguely creative types who don't have any particular skills, I defaulted to writing. And I you know, like I said, I tried hard, so I bore down and I wrote stories and I sent them out like crazy. And I actually published a few stories and stuff. And that was all the encouragement I needed to decide to go to grad school and like hone my craft. So after a few years, I did indeed receive my master's degree in creative writing, which was in no way a total waste of time and money. But then I had to figure out what to do next. So, armed with the world's most worthless advanced degree, I decided to move to New York and try my hand at advertising. And also, of course, I was going to write the great American novel. But before I did that, I needed some money. Being a creative teacher's assistant, creative writing teacher's assistant is not like a very lucrative gig. But right around that time, I met this guy in Denver who told me about his adventures in Alaska, and he had funded all these amazing adventures that he'd had by working as a commercial fisherman. And at the time, he said something that struck a chord with me. He said, "It's not about the pay, man. It's about the Hemingway." And I thought, that's so cool. Like, I'm a writer. I need stuff to write about, and like I gotta live and have adventures, and, you know. So I went to Seattle and I signed on to work on a fishing boat in Alaska, and I headed up to the Bering Sea to make money and have my Hemingway moment, which of course led to that one. And you know, you saw the video. I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, I mean, that's like kind of extreme bad seas, but like I did live through that, and you know, it's widely considered to be one of the worst ways that you can possibly make money, and that was certainly my experience. It was just miserable. I mean, you're freezing cold, you're working 16 hours a day with no days off, you're surrounded by criminals, basically. And, you know, like, I mean, everyone on the boat hated me because I had like gone to college. My nickname was College Puke. That's what I was 93 days, exactly. And you know, it was like a total nightmare. But I did walk away with an important lesson. What I walked away with was that I never wanted to do that kind of shit again. Never. I wanted to make money another way, not just through labor and misery. I wanted to use my mind and hopefully my creativity, which leads to my ad guy phase, which I'm still in. But it's evolved over time. So yeah, I made it off the boat. Not everyone made it off the boat, actually. Most of the guys on our crew actually died. It's a heavy shit up there. But anyway, I don't want to get dark. But yeah, I got a job, an entry-level job at a startup agency in New York. And pretty soon I got a job at a big shop, and I was a copywriter, and I was writing print headlines, and then radio, and then eventually TV. And like, I couldn't believe my good fortune. Like, I was making decent money. I didn't even have to like gut any fish or like avoid eye contact with sociopaths. And I could just like show up and try to be smart and try to be creative and solve problems for people. And like, it felt like a huge privilege, you know, to be able to do that. And it was the best job I ever had by a mile. And I even had my nights and weekends free to work on my novel. So it was perfect. Which leads to my mad guy phase. So this is where my ad guy version of me becomes like pissed off and bitter. So after a few years, things began to change a little bit, and of course my novel, just didn't go anywhere, and it kind of like morphed into a screenplay, and then like that didn't get written either. And I was like out and about in New York, and that was fun, and but like I wasn't doing any of the things with my creative energy that I wanted to do, and I felt like I was working really hard, like I was busting my ass, but like none of my real writing was happening, and I felt like I was kind of squandering my creative energy, and I began to get resentful, and I started to feel like I was being used, like taken advantage of in some vague way, like my creative energy was being co-opted by like rapacious corporations or something. And I started getting really grumpy, and also at the same time, like I wasn't the youngest guy in the room anymore. This was about 10 years into my career, and I saw the kind of youth culture in advertising, and that was like scary. I was like, wow, I not only am I like kind of resentful, but I'm also insecure now, so that's not an awesome combination. So I saw this thing the other day. It's a show called Happyish. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's about that basically. Well, here's a little clip.
I work for Satan. I've worked for the Dark Lord for 20 years now, and so I say this with a fair degree of authority. Fuck Madman. There's nothing cool about advertising. There's nothing interesting. We do the same thing that everyone else in the world does these days. We kiss the zit-covered asses of arrogant, know-nothing teenagers. It's Lord of the Flies out there, folks. And everyone over 18 is piggy.
I'm fucked, Tom. We all are.
When did he make this announcement?
This morning. Do you know them?
I know of them. They're the Swedes. That's what everyone calls them.
Gustav and Gottfried.
So what, Jonathan just announces these new creative directors, calls you into his office and fires you?
No, but they will. I know it.
They're not going to fire you. I won't let them.
You don't have any power?
I have some power.
Not anymore.
Yeah, so that's pretty much in a nutshell how I felt. And then I got called out on it by one of my good friends, and he said, "Dude, do you really want to become that guy?" And I said, "What guy?" And he said, "The successful yet still bitter bad guy." The answer was no, I do not. So that leads us, of course, to my final dumb idea that I'm going to share with you, and that's Calexico, which is this. So I had to do something to snap myself out of this rut that I was in, and I knew that I had to create something that was all mine and kind of build something from the ground up from scratch. And I didn't really know what that was going to be yet, but I had a hint. This was me when I was 3, and I'm actually, our family's from the town of Calexico, which is a border town, California, Mexico, and somewhere deep down inside, I knew that this was coming down the road for me. Anyway, I have another short video, if you don't mind. It'll tell like the Calexico story in a more efficient way than I can do it here. It's something we put together for investors, but it's quick. Hey, my name's Jesse. I'm the founder of Calexico. I guess you want to talk about where Calexico started? It started in Calexico. Calexico is a town on the border of Mexico and California, hence the name, California, Mexico, Calexico. You go right over the border to the Mexican side, and it's Mexicali. So they're two sister cities. One thing about Calexico that is notable and kind of famous locally is the food. It's a mashup of Mexican cuisine and California ingredients and freshness and healthiness. Most famously, carne asada is kind of the signature dish of the area. When I came to New York, I brought my grandmother's recipe with me, and I started making carne asada for friends here in the city. People were really enthusiastic, and a lot of people told me that I should turn this into some sort of business. Opening a restaurant seemed a little ambitious at the time, but I did get an idea on a trip back to Southern California. I was standing in line for a taco truck, and I was standing in line and I was thinking, I wish they had taco trucks like this in New York. And a little light bulb went on over my head, and I thought, why not? Why not taco trucks? But I needed someone to help me launch it, to work on the cart. So I called my brothers and said, what are you guys up to?
When we started, it was really difficult. It only would have worked by working with family. It's hard to ask people to work 80 hours a week and not pay them enough, or sleep on your floor and things like that. David did all the quick cooking, I did the planning, and sure enough, we were on the street selling food quickly.
Very early on, we wanted this company to represent who we were as people. When we first started a food cart, when we opened restaurants, the aesthetic, the music, the general vibe, how we treated people, and the way we prepared food, all was a representation of who we are as people.
We build the types of restaurants that we like to hang out in, and we cook the sort of food that we like to eat. With that said, we're not trying to create, a traditional taqueria. We're trying to create like our own world. We've created this thing, Plexico. It's sort of this imagined place. And so we've taken the idea of a taqueria and we've, taken all kinds of liberties with it. The flavor profile is sort of ramped up. Everything is kind of just dialed in and just turned up.
We've been able to, build a company from scratch, learn our mistakes the hard way, and really grow this business. It started as an idea and was on a street cart. And then it slowly turned into a larger idea with restaurants. And now we're at another phase where we feel like our baby's going off to college or something like that, and we're expanding into other markets. And it's really exciting for us to kind of watch that expansion and watch something that you really have carefully grown and curated turn into this really universal experience that people can enjoy in different states and different cities and different countries.
All right, so thanks for that. So make no mistake, like this was a very dumb idea. Like don't let our subsequent success fool you. I recruited the only two people that I could find that were like boneheaded enough to do this with me, which were my younger brothers. And at the time they were living on a beach in Oceanside, California. And they were hanging out and surfing and like just totally living the life. And somehow I convinced them to leave all that and come to New York and live in the shittiest apartment in Astoria, Queens, underneath the elevated train. The whole place would rattle and shake. It was just ridiculous. And and none of us had any experience cooking or running a food business or any business at all. And this was before the like street food revolution of '09 or like the tacofication of New York in 2012. This was back when like street food meant dirty water dogs and like pretzels, and people thought street meat was gross, but we didn't let that stop us. It's like the highest failure rate of any industry and all that stuff. You've heard about all that, but we still like decided that we were going to roll a cart out onto the sidewalk and make our grandmother's carne asada. And dumb, but like it worked. And we put the cart out, and people started showing up, and people started lining up, and it was really tough at first. Like we got like really fucked with by, sorry kids, by a lot of other vendors. Were very threatened by us and territorial, and they would threaten to like kill us and stuff, and they would follow us back to our homes and their cars. They would drive by and go like this or go like this. The scariest thing that happened, our cart got sabotaged by somebody you have to store the carts at a city licensed depot, and you leave it there overnight, and somebody had messed with the hitch that connects the truck to the cart. We didn't know that, of course, and we were driving down 2nd Avenue, and the cart, which is this thing, came off the back of the truck and just careened down 2nd Avenue, completely out of control. Luckily, it slammed into 2 parked cars and totaled the cars. One of them was a BMW, but it didn't hit a pedestrian. It didn't go up on a curb. It didn't, it could have killed somebody. It's crazy. And that would have ended the business right there. But somehow, like, Geico decided to pay for it. I couldn't believe it. I thought they were going to say no, and that would be the end of it, but they didn't. So I go. But the thing that really like made us break through is this thing called the Vendley Awards. The Vendley Awards are this that street food cook-up where people, you have to be nominated by your fans, and then you compete against other street vendors, and we won this. And the year that we won it, we competed against this guy Sammy's Halal, and we told him about how we were getting messed with, and he said, "I like you. Let me talk to some people. Let me put the word out." Nothing ever happened again. That was it. So I don't know if it was actually Sammy doing it or like if he anyway, but it stopped. So that's all that mattered. But we won the Vendley Awards, and things just really opened up for us, and we started getting like attention. We were on TV, and we were on like Martha Stewart show, which is super weird. Things like just started to come together for us, and that gave us a platform to expand, and we expanded beyond street carts, and we started opening restaurants around town, and that opened up this whole new like creative exercise for us, an opportunity, and we could design these restaurants and create a vibe and a kind of atmosphere that we wanted to create, and it's been really, really rewarding and really fun. And we've also gotten into the Barclays Center. We're one of the main vendors there, which has been just awesome. And we've gotten some really cool like accolades and stuff. 2012 Zagat named this the top Mexican restaurant in New York, which was really, really nice. It's not true at all, but it was really nice. So I kind of like started to get my groove back, and that through this creative endeavor, my own creative endeavor, and that leads us to kind of the final phase here. I'm getting to it. The success of this business had a totally unforeseen consequence for me, and that was that I fell in love with advertising again. I went from being a bitter dude to all of a sudden like, I don't know, I think it was because like some of the pressure was really like, I wasn't all in on advertising. My entire creative like identity wasn't wrapped up in this job, and because I had this other outlet, and because of that, I like came to see my job for what it was, which was this like privilege to do, and it was fun again. It wasn't just a chore, Let me wrap it up. I know it's going a little long here. Lessons for me that I can try to like share with you guys from all this. If there's anything I can offer, it's this. Look, we're all blessed or cursed, however you look at it, with some kind of creative impulse. That's why we're not bankers. If that urge is satisfied by what you do in your day job, like, God bless, that's great. You did the smart thing. You identified some kind of aptitude, you turned that into a career. So, awesome. It's amazing. But if you're like me and you find yourself in the creative rut, if you find yourself experiencing early onset grumpiness, I do think you owe it to yourself to do something about it, and to, if making smart decisions isn't getting you there, then maybe you should try the other thing. Maybe like being considered and rational and hedging your bets, isn't always the path to happiness. Maybe try being irrational and exuberant and impulsive, and maybe shut down your smart brain for a minute and give your dumb brain a little room. I'm pretty sure that your dumb brain is where your creativity lies. I know that it's where your courage lies, and I think it might be where your joy lives also. So I'm not saying abandon your career. You can pursue parallel paths. I certainly did. All I'm saying is don't rationalize dissatisfaction. Don't settle. Do what you want to do when you're a teenager. Follow your heart, like a John Hughes movie. It's encouraging to do that. For me, chasing down dumb ideas eventually led to this taco business, and if you hate money and free time, then I highly recommend starting a food business. Otherwise, I'd recommend doing something much more sensible and probably technology-based, like Graham did, who you're going to hear from momentarily, who started this amazing app. But listen, I've been rewarded in so many ways for this 10-year bonehead, journey that I've been on, and almost none of those rewards have to do with money. But the money is starting to come in, which is cool. And people often ask me, why are you still in advertising? Like, when do you get to quit? And the reality is I can quit whenever I want, and any of us can quit anything whenever we want. But the point is, like, I do both things because I want to, and that feels like I feel incredibly privileged for that and lucky. So a lot of dumb ideas brought me to that. In conclusion, I realize that this whole notion of like finding your inner dumbass is like may in itself be one of my many dumb ideas. But maybe not, maybe not. But regardless, there is one lesson that I feel very confident in sharing with you tonight. This I can completely endorse. No matter what you thought of this talk, no matter what you thought of me, there will be one thing that you always remember from this night, and that is the time when the speaker that you saw brought tacos. So that is the one irrefutable lesson that 10 years of running a taco business has taught me, and that is always bring tacos. It's never a bad idea. Thanks a lot.